Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of August 6, 2026, including Gears of War E-Day is looking really good, and we get to play it very soon. Xbox's disc-to-digital feature is rumored to be rolling out as soon as this month. Asha Sharma speaks to Xbox's abysmal quarterly earnings, and more. On this week in Xbox history in the year 2020, 6 years ago, Fast and Furious Crossroads was released for the Xbox One, and I'm pretty sure it's been delisted and taken off since, earlier this year, last year, or something like that. I played this game. Hey, I actually played this game. I shouldn't be saying that so loudly and proudly, but I did play this game, and it was, I like the Fast and Furious movies. It's a little bit of a guilty pleasure series for me, partially because of the nostalgia, partially because of my appreciation of car culture, and partially just because I enjoy a good, dumb action movie. And these are, for the most part, they were action racing movies, and now they're just dumb action movies. And I find, for the most part, pretty much all of these movies, except for the last couple, are pretty entertaining and pretty good. But yeah, whatever. So I played Crossroads. This was, I didn't know this was published by Bandai Namco, which is ridiculous. And it was developed by Slightly Mad Studios, which I have no idea who they are. But this game sucked. It bombed. I remember nobody wanted it when it was announced, and it came out, didn't do very well, and was pretty immediately available for dirt cheap. And that's when I got it. And I remember playing it and appreciating the hell out of it, because I really like, as many of you longtime listeners will know, I really have a deep appreciation for shitty, budgety, cheap licensed games, especially that era in like my youth, in the GameCube Xbox generation in particular, where licensed games were like such a guarantee for any kind of like big TV show or movie that came out, especially something aimed at children or all age audiences. So to me, I see like a Fast and Furious licensed game, and I get excited because it reminds me of playing things like Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 20 years ago. So anyway, this game sucks. It's fun. It's got some ideas. It's got some merits. I have a high tolerance for bad games. But the only thing you need to know about this game, don't even worry about what do you do in a story-driven Fast and Furious game. Don't worry about that. All you need to know is my favorite part of this game is when it takes place over a course of a couple different cities and countries and what have you. And my favorite part is the part where you're in New Orleans or in the middle of the game, and you do some kind of street race during Pride Month, some Pride Month celebration street race, and then your gay character that you play as says, New Orleans, no, you do a street race in New Orleans, and then the gay protagonist character you play as says, New Orleans is so awesome, I can't wait to come back here for Pride Month. And that is just one of my all-time favorite lines in the history of video game writing. And I just, I think about upcoming games like Intergalactic, The Heretic Prophet, which, has a lot of pressure riding on it because it's coming from Naughty Dog, who are seen as kind of like the top dog, no pun intended, in terms of like storytelling in video games. I think about Grand Theft Auto 6 coming up soon, and how Rockstar are kind of, in my opinion, the true kings of storytelling in video games after what they did with Red Dead Redemption 2. And I just think about games like that, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think either of those games, or anything that Naughty Dog or Rockstar or any of these companies have ever done can hold a fucking candle to that line that someone at Slightly Mad Studios Limited came up with, and then Bandai Namco said, yep, that's good, and put a stamp of publisher approval on it. But yeah, that's just one of my all-time favorite things ever in any video game. Wow, New Orleans is awesome. I can't wait to come back here for Pride Month. Anyway, Fast and Furious Crossroads, I wish I could say you could go play it, but it has been delisted. Maybe you gotta go find a physical copy somewhere out there in the world. This is something we will miss when everything goes all digital, is that when a game like this gets delisted, it will be wiped from history, because if you don't have it in your download library, you ain't never going on eBay and getting yourself a physical copy. I guess maybe in the future there will be like some kind of like cult following game that bombed in its contemporary era, and you'll be like, you'll go on eBay and you'll be like, I need to buy an Xbox One that has Fast and Furious Crossroads loaded on it because the game was never released physically and I just got to get my hands on this game. Maybe that will become a thing, and you'll have people who have like, oh, that's my DuckTales Xbox and that's my Fast and Furious Xbox, because we'll live in a world with no physical media. And so everyone will have to buy new used Xboxes that have a delisted game installed on them every time they want to acquire something in their library that they had missed out on back in the day. I think that seems like a very reasonable path forward for preserving games. What about you guys? Guys, welcome to the Xbox On podcast. I knew he'd come in here. Hang on a second. I got a cat walking in. This little fucking freak. I put a blanket on my futon so he could lay on the blanket and not get hair all over my futon. So what does he do? He finds the 2 inches of space on the futon that the blanket doesn't cover and decides to lay there. That motherfucker. But cutie nonetheless. All right, let's get back to it. Guys, welcome to the Xbox On podcast. There are notable games releasing this week. I didn't know, this one kind of crept up on me. I knew Beast of Reincarnation was coming sometime in August. I didn't realize it was like, boom, August, here it is. But here it is, August 4th. It's already out. Beast of Reincarnation. This is that new third person, I don't fucking know what the hell it is, game from Game Freak, the people that make Pokemon. They made this game just in an effort to prove to audiences that when given the time and money, they actually can make a game with decent graphics, unlike Pokemon games, which sell 8.6 trillion copies, but are made on like a $7 budget. And it doesn't fucking matter because you'll buy it anyway if you're over the age of 25. And Beast of Reincarnation, unfortunately, is not doing incredibly well reception-wise. It seems like it's getting just kind of like okay reviews, which, it is what it is. I haven't looked into it at all. This was at the Developer Direct earlier this year. Xbox showed it off, I think, last year at the Summer Showcase. Xbox is heavily associated with this game from a marketing standpoint, and I just haven't been here for it because I just personally don't care about it. However, it is worth noting this is a day one Game Pass game, so if you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, here you go. Beast of Reincarnation. Maybe give it a whirl, see what you think for yourself. But that's out. The other game that's out this week I want to mention is just one that I found and said, hey, that looks cool because I like boomer shooters and first-person shooting action platforming games. And this game here is called Gunstoppable, like Unstoppable, but with guns. And it is available on Xbox Series S and X. It's available as of the day this podcast is being recorded, Wednesday the 5th. And it is this little indie game I never heard of, and you run around and do like Ghost Runner type, like parkour, like jumping on walls or running around. But it is also a first person shooter with some melee combat as well. And it looks pretty basic in terms of its aesthetic, but also very fun in terms of its gameplay. And I saw a trailer of it for like 30 seconds and I thought, gee, that looks like a fun game. If there weren't 8,000 games right now that I need to play, I might even give this one a try, but it looks cute. So I threw it on the wish list and maybe one day I'll play it, but that is Gunstoppable. It's probably only like 10 to 20 bucks. But I didn't check, but it is, it's an indie release, so it's probably not going to be super expensive or too much of a time commitment there. But guys, let's hop into the show proper. We got a decent amount of news that broke between yesterday and today, so decent amount of things to get through, but I want to kick off the news this week talking about one thing that happened immediately after the show last week, and one thing that's just kind of a small news story to ease our way in here. So without further ado, I want to get right into that because let's talk about Gears of War E-Day. Like I mentioned last week, hey, they're going to talk about Gears of War E-Day the day the show goes live, so we're not going to be able to cover it, on last week's show. So now it's been a full week since this multiplayer reveal took place, and we are just now getting to talk about it on the Xbox On podcast. Now, Xbox and the Coalition did a thing with a lot of influencers and YouTubers and podcasters and not invited them out. I think they just sent codes, but a lot of Xbox influencers and video game media type people have now officially already played this, and you can go on YouTube and watch tons and tons of footage of people playing the game. You can listen to tons and tons of hours of opinions of what it's like. And so we went from, wow, we've seen a decent amount of Gears of War E-Day, but we've seen nothing about its multiplayer, to having seen a shit ton of its multiplayer, all in a very short amount of time. So I'll just give my 2 cents on it because honestly, I really don't have that much to say. I was part of that, like, why the hell haven't we seen multiplayer crowd after the Xbox showcase in June? And now having seen the multiplayer, I'm like, hey, it looks like Gears of War. I don't know, man. People who have played it seem to be incredibly high on it. Like the impressions have been like, wow, this actually feels like, no, not to say Gears of War 4 and 5 weren't like classic Gears in terms of how they played and felt, because honestly, I think Gears of War 4 and 5 are really fun. I think gameplay wise, are actually the best Gears of War games. Maybe story and character wise, they might be somewhere in the middle of the pack, but I personally think Gears of War 4 and 5 are excellent. I think the Coalition really, like, the Coalition is the antithesis of what 343 or Halo Studios is. Like, the Coalition, they get Gears of War. They know what they're doing. These are the correct group, the correct developer to have, take the Gears of War IP from Epic and move it forward for time immemorial. Like, this is the team. So it seems like they are taking that mantle and continuing it forward with Gears of War E-Day, because everyone who played this game seems to freaking love it and think it's in a lot of cases, what I'm hearing is it's the best Gears of War multiplayer ever, which is awesome. That's really great to hear. Here's the thing, before we get into what all they showed and what all this game has, I can't help but make this one observation, and maybe it's nothing special to observe or want to talk about, but I just can't help but think, like, is there really anything like Gears of War out there in the market today? I thought about it. I'm like, because think about it, like I'm about to say something and you could argue, well, Call of Duty doesn't count. It's turned itself into such a live service, annual release kind of must be there, must always be engaged with game kind of experience. But what I want to get at is Gears of War E-Day, after what we've seen here, because they basically straight up said, we're not going to have like an in-game store with tons of microtransactions. Like, we will have an occasional crossover. We will have a couple pre-order skins and things you can unlock. But for the most part, the game is the game, and the content that's in the game is all in the game, and you buy the game and you play the game, and then the game is over when you decide to stop playing it. And that's Gears of War E-Day. And I'm like, I just can't really remember the last time we had a game like this. It seems like maybe almost deliberately they're making a decision with this game, because it is, in terms of when it takes place in the timeline, because of what it looks like visually and aesthetically. This game really is like, what if an Xbox 360 game was made today? Like, that seems like the elevator pitch for Gears of War E-Day. Like, it looks like an Xbox 360 game, just with modern day graphics. It looks like it plays like an Xbox 360 game, just with modern day sensibilities. Things like there's some weapon customization in some of the modes. There's some new movement-based mechanics in the game that looks like it just kind of evolves the formula of Gears of War a little bit. But for the most part, Gears of War E-Day feels like a 2026 version of what the world would be like if video games didn't change all that much from 2006 to 2026. And I know that could be interpreted in a bad way, but I mean that in a good way. Now, obviously, I'm all for, developers and publishers taking risks, doing different things, and the fact that there are different trends and swings and preferences in gaming throughout time, whether it's what developers want to make or what people want to play and what they best respond to. I'm totally cool with the fact that the games the kids are playing today are not the games that I was crazy about 20 years ago. Like, that's okay. I had my time. I remember being 13, obsessing over playing like BioShock and Call of Duty and Halo with my buddies. It's the best memories of my life. Like, I'm super grateful to have come up when I did and to have had the games at my disposal that I had growing up. It is what it is. I don't expect the world to stop progressing and just remain the same forever just to accommodate my nostalgia, my preferences. That's fine. But you look at like what's kind of going on in the games industry today, and how like the push for the highest fidelity, the push for the biggest open world, the push for everything's a live service and better make $1 trillion. And if it doesn't, everyone's fired. And you just see Gears of War E-Day. And well, yes, it is a very impressive looking game in terms of its technical presentation and sound design and all those things. But like, at the end of the day, listen, we don't really have all the hard numbers, but I feel pretty safe saying, after what we've seen, Gears of War E-Day is an 8 to 12 hour long video game that you can play solo or with your buddies via co-op. It is a linear cover-based third-person shooter, and once you roll the credits, you can either go back and do it again, trying to beat the game on a harder mode, or maybe clean up some achievements you missed on the first playthrough. And if you're not into that, no worries. Why don't you hop into one of our two other offerings, the classic PvP multiplayer that includes things like Deathmatch and King of the Hill, or you can get into our PvE mode that we've had, that's been a staple of the series since Gears of War 2, which is of course Horde mode. And I just feel like when you look at the whole package and the fact that they're advertising like, yeah, we're going to do a crossover with Metallica. There's going to be a couple skins we'll sell, but we're not going to have like, this isn't going to be like a games as a service. There isn't going to be like a season 1, season 7, season Nicki Minaj. There isn't going to be like you guys better play this weekend or else you're a bunch of fucking idiots and then we'll kill you if you turn on your Xbox. And I swear to God, if you don't open up Gears of War, you'll lose all your cred and you'll revert back to rank 1. And then we'll just fucking put a dunce hat on your character for the next 7 times you play. Like, there's none of that shit. It's just, here's Gears of War. If you give us $70, we will give you an excellent 12-hour campaign, a robust multiplayer suite that's kind of classic, and a PvE mode if you want to just do something that's a little more casual and just enjoy the mechanics of the game and turn your brain off and just have some fun one night. And that is the package. Take it or leave it. Gears of War E-Day. And I'm looking at the mess that is the Halo campaign Evolved. I'm looking at the mess that is the entire games industry and the push for the biggest open worlds and the push for the live service games and all the rest, and the push for a game that used to take 3 years to make now has to take 8 years to make because it just you just got to be able to see the ball sweat on Master Chief, or else it's just not good enough graphics for the modern savvy consumer. I look at a game like Gears of War E-Day, I'm like, a part of me really wishes this is still what gaming was about. And accepting that that's not how it is going to be, a part of me just really appreciates that this game is giving us a taste of what I perceive to be as a better time in gaming, a better type of game, a healthier product that is both healthier and more respectful of the developers and the people behind the game that make it, and the consumers on the end that on the other side that purchase and consume it. I don't think there's anything healthy about demanding developers to make a game that surpasses Fortnite and threatens all their livelihoods. And I also don't think there's anything healthy, particularly about demanding everyone who ever engages with your game to give up their families, give up their jobs, give up their other hobbies, and enslave themselves to your live service. And just the fact that this is a video game that you can pick up and do the video game thing and then put it on a shelf and go, gee whiz, that was a great experience, on to the next thing, just really has me excited. Because honestly, Gears of War E-Day, like, I'm not even trying to be like a little like dramatic baby or anything here. Like, I know Forza Horizon 6 is great. I know there are other excellent games that have come to Xbox Series X, but I'm thinking about the fall from grace that is Xbox these days. I'm thinking about the games in the Xbox catalog that have just been so sorely needed and missing the gap, the kinds of products you really ought to be offering your core audience to say like, hey, we're still Xbox, we still hear you, we still know what you want, we still know how to deliver. And I'm thinking, is Gears of War E-Day going to be the first fucking game Xbox releases this entire generation that offers players this product? Again, I understand this is a very like nostalgically charged and a little one-sided from the perspective of just like, this is a game that speaks to like my generation and my youth and my upbringing. But like, I really feel that way. Like, I mean, you look at the whole Xbox brand, and and 10 years ago during the Xbox One days, we were talking about how it's like, man, Xbox One has been a little bit of a stumble for Xbox, but they're course correcting. They'll get back on track. And now all these years later, we like wag our fingers and go, oh, poor naive younger us, thinking that Xbox had a misstep and will get back on track. We now know that the entire Xbox brand, the entire existence of Xbox, has been just one giant clusterfuck where they accidentally stumbled upon greatness for a little bit there during the 360, and then the rest is all just a giant fucking mess. And Gears of War E-Day is something I look at and go, Xbox Series X, Xbox for PC, Xbox Play Anywhere, Gears of War E-Day. This feels like what Xbox was when they were at their peak and what Xbox should have evolved into. And there's something about it. It puts a special kind of smile on my face. I know this is the 25th anniversary of Xbox and Halo, but really from what I'm seeing of Gears of War E-Day, I feel like this is the 25th anniversary of Xbox being held on the back of Gears of War. I feel like the coalition, despite the fact that they haven't put a game out in 7 years, I will say at the least the game they put out 7 years ago was great, in my opinion. These guys must have insane back pain. Like, these poor motherfuckers at the coalition, we got to send some chiropractors their way. We got to send some icy hot pads their way, because me as a longtime Xbox fan, I'm looking at this game, haven't played it, but I'm looking at this game and I'm saying to myself, damn, their backs must be in fucking pain, as I'm also side-eyeing Halo Studios, who are just fucking picking their nose and picking their butts and just being like, what do you want? We've only had Halo since 2007 and can't figure it out. Just as a little, anecdote or historical side note, in case you didn't know, a little factoid for you guys. The early days of 343 began as Halo 3 was wrapping up. Bonnie Ross and a group of people from Bungie and Xbox got together and said, we need to, Bungie wants out of Halo. We got to band together and figure out a way to preserve this franchise and keep it going and keep it as a core part of the Xbox identity as we get ready to say goodbye to Bungie. And then, of course, Bungie was still contracted for another game or two or whatever. And we got Halo Reach and everything. And we know that early 343 actually did a lot of learning and co-development on Halo Reach and whatnot. But really, when you trace it back, I mean, 343/Halo Studios, you guys have only had Halo for like 20 fucking years, man. And Xbox, you're to blame. You're the one that manages them. It's just, I'm just so great. Listen, let's not rag on Halo too much, especially because that's coming later in the show, unfortunately. Although I will admit, I'm having fun playing Halo. I'm just glad there's someone out there on Team Xbox that remembers what made Halo great, or what made Xbox great, and knows how to respect the IP that they're in charge of, and knows how to deliver something people actually want to play. So I'm very excited about Gears of War E-Day. And with that said, here's some exciting news before we break up like what was shown here. There are 2 betas for this game, and you're going to be able to play this game really fucking soon. Like, way sooner than I thought. And by way sooner than I thought, I mean the day this podcast goes live, you can play Gears of War E-Day. If you pre-order the game, or if you're on Game Pass Ultimate, either one, there is a beta for this game from August 6th to August 10th. So Thursday to, Sunday? Or Monday. Thursday to Monday. Go play Gears of War E-Day multiplayer. That's awesome. And then, hey, I don't want to pre-order a game that's not even out, or that's not reviewed yet. I don't want to buy a game that's not technically out yet. Totally respect it. Well, the next weekend on August 13th through August 17th, same deal. There's another beta, but this one's open. You don't even have to pre-order it or be a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber. You just have to have access to some version of Game Pass, Xbox Live, and your Xbox, and you can just fucking go hog wild and play the Gears of War E-Day beta. So 2 weekends in a row, back to back, beginning the day this podcast goes live. I'm excited to get to this weekend and give it a try. I will gladly pre-order it because I want to put my money where my mouth is and tell Xbox, like, hey, more games like this. This is what Xbox needs. This is what Xbox ought to be like more often than not. Now, will Gears of War E-Day succeed and be a sales smash hit success and a critical darling? I really don't know. And honestly, after the soft response to things like the Gears of War 1 remake on PlayStation 5 and the Halo remake that just came to PS5 and the soft sales of these games, I'm a little concerned about these IP. Not just the future of them and what Xbox will do, but like what the market demand will be for these. And if it's, just the fact that, PlayStation got Xbox's Mario and PlayStation's audience said, yeah, we're good. No, thanks. Like, we'll get into that in a little bit. Like, I can't even begin to conceptualize the reality that's unfolding before us. But anyway, real quick, because I don't really want to talk about Gears of War too much from the perspective of like what all the game offers and what it's like, because we're all about to play it ourselves. And you've probably already seen and heard a bunch of news about it in the past week, so like I don't want to be too redundant, but yeah, the PvE mode Horde returns, but there's a new version of Horde called Horde Siege, which is like the new multiplayer mode they're really pushing for this game. It's like the big advertisement friendly, like this is what we want to market the game with. It is a 12-player version of Horde where instead of a team of 4, a squad of 4 trying to survive as long as possible, it is now 3 squads of 4 in a much larger map. And so it's basically Horde, but there are 3 different squads on a large map, and at some points throughout the battle, your teams may intersect with one another, and you may want to team up and work together to try and survive as long as you can, and it looks pretty cool. Aside from that, the regular PvP multiplayer is very simplified in a way that makes me very happy, because they just focused on bread and butter. They didn't focus too much on, or I should say meat and potatoes. They didn't focus too much on things like the accoutrements and just a number of modes just to have an advertisable number. So the PvP is Team Deathmatch, Conquest, which is basically King of the Hill, Demolition, which is where, it's like search and destroy, planting a bomb, all that kind of thing, and then Crucible, which is just which is actually a new mode for the game. It's a unique mode where players must obtain a power core to accumulate points for their team whilst keeping it away from other enemies on a shrinking scoring zone. So it sounds like some kind of King of the Hill esque mode or like oddball, basically. So you got, if I'm comparing this to Halo, it's like you got Slayer, King of the Hill, oddball, and then Call of Duties, of course. What do I just say? Search and destroy. Anyway, looks pretty good. There's plenty of gameplay out there. A 10-minute developer diary trailer thing of it. Go out there, see it for yourself, or just go play this fucking weekend. I'm very excited for Gears of War E-Day. It is the thing happening with Xbox Game Studios, with Xbox first party, that has me the most optimistic and the most excited. Now, I know Forza Horizon 6 was a sales smash hit success. The game is excellent, all the rest. But listen, Forza has remained great throughout all this time. And the thing about Forza is, it's like, I don't mean to discredit it. It's just that Forza isn't like a gamer's game. Like, gamers play Forza, but Forza is like a game for racing people, racing fans, racing video game people. Gears of War is like a gamer game. It's like a game. Well, I mean, obviously, it has a large, wide appeal, and a lot of casuals play games like Gears of War. But I mean, Gears of War is a video game. Like, you have guns, it's rated M, you shoot things, it takes skill to be good at it. Like, it's a game where your mom walks in and tells you to stop smoking so much weed and go mow the grass or something like that. It's like that kind of game. And it's just been a long time since Xbox has really killed it with something like this, and I would just love to see them actually land this shot they got here, but we shall see. So that's Gears E-Day. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, a little small one here, is that, it's exciting stuff. Asha tweeted out, I think it was today actually, that she goes, "Hey, the player voice thing is happening. We hear you. We wanna acknowledge what people are asking about on the Xbox voice thing. So here are some new console features that are rolling out to Xbox insiders." So they announced 4 and teased 1 new feature that I think people are going to be pretty freaking excited about. These are the quality of life, the fan feedback, like the little things you can do. You're not going to sell 5 million more Xbox Series X's doing this, but you are going to engage your audience, make them feel heard, add a little bit more of that like brand loyalty and special comfort feeling to your brand that Xbox is so sorely lacking after just constantly bending over their most hardcore customers and smacking their asses. So yeah, the 4 features that are coming, rolling out to Xbox insiders right now are voice chat and game captures. So being able to toggle your settings to where when you do a game capture, it will also capture the voice chat that was going on if you were in a Xbox party or whatever, which is really great. I can't believe this hasn't been here in the 13 years that game capture has been around. Next up is new ways to view achievements. So when you're looking at your achievements by default right now, it will organize your games based on the recency you played them. So if the last game you played was Halo, and then before Halo you played Grand Theft Auto 5, it will show your achievements for Halo, then Grand Theft Auto, then whatever you played after that, and so on and so forth. But you can now change your filters to where you can sort it to show by completion percentage. So we'll show like all your 100% completed games and then go down all the way to 0. Or you can change it to filter through like amount of gamer score earned or the number of achievements you've unlocked. So if you like to have your achievements organized a certain way and show them off a certain way or whatever, you can now do that. So that's a nice little again, a little quality of life feature. These are kinds of things that, they go a long way over the course of time if you care enough to do these things. American companies used to give a shit about the little things, the attention to detail, the small touches. It used to be the thing that like built the Walt Disney Company's brand. But nowadays everyone's like, hey, you can just basically spit on people's face and they'll still say, I'm back for more, please. So this is nice. It's nice to see this because you just don't see companies do stuff like this anymore. The next thing is that they're adding the ability to find backups and restore backups of cloud saves. So if you're playing on your Xbox Ally, you're playing Forza, and you thought you saved, and then you go to your Xbox downstairs and you keep playing Forza, and it goes, oh, we can't sync your data. Here's the most recent save we found, and it's like some save file from like 3 days ago. And you're like, fuck, I just lost all my progress. You can now go into your settings of your save files and back up an old save so that you can find like the save you did on your Xbox Ally and not lose your progress. That is a very nice thing. It's one of those features like no one's going to give a shit about it until you need it, and then there you go, you're lucky to have it. So that's great there. And then the last of the 4 features is you can now add more games on your wish list. So your wish list can now be up to 1,000 games long. I don't know how long the current maximum is for how many games you can add to your wish list, but apparently people were asking for them to increase this, and they did. So for those people that needed that, if you have 1,000 games wish listed on Xbox, you got some problems, man. You need to focus more on what you got on your plate and less on what's in the window there. You know what I'm saying, boy? But anyway, the most exciting thing is not one of those 4 features that was announced, but rather a feature that has long been clamored for and has finally been confirmed and teased for sometime, quote, later this year. Brandon WW83, just random dude on Twitter, replied to Asha Sharma and said, when are you going to solve the platinum trophy equivalent with Xbox achievements? And Asha Sharma replied to this dude on Twitter and said, team is working on something for later this year. So very Phil Spencer, like just replying to random fuckers on Twitter and dropping news that way. But yeah, I mean, so apparently at some point later this year, there's going to be some kind of platinum equivalent to achievements, which I assume is going to be rolled out during the November event, during the Xbox 25th celebration anniversary, whatever event. So that is fucking awesome. For those who live under a rock or for some reason just don't know, yes, on PlayStation's ecosystem, their version of achievements called trophies, they have what's called a platinum trophy, which is the highest quality and highest honor of achievement you can unlock. It's the achievement you get once you have 100% completion on a game, and people have been asking for Xbox to have something like that forever. So this will be something like that. So you'll complete an Xbox game's achievement list 100%, and then you will get some kind of acknowledgement of that in the form of, not just having 100% completion bar on the game's achievement list, but maybe there'll be something by your Xbox profile where it'll be like a tick, like a gamer streak cred tally mark or whatever the fuck they want to call it, and you'll get like a tally mark for every game you 100% or something like that. That will be very cool. I think it's awesome that Xbox is finally addressing this. I've always appreciated that Xbox achievements are pretty straightforward. It's like, it's like a high score. You just get the biggest high score you could possibly get. Like I prefer that over the more like RPG leveling system thing that PlayStation does. I think it's cool that each of them have their own thing and that they're totally different. But I do actually think this would be a good way to maybe reinvigorate some lapsed achievement hunters, or perhaps, just really excite some existing achievement hunters. Either way, depending on what this is, it might inspire me to like actually 100% a couple of games again after, I haven't 100% a game on my achievement list, or an achievement list in like, I don't know, fucking 10 years or something. So who knows? Maybe this will make achievement hunting very exciting again, which is something I totally welcome. But these are the kinds of things you do. Just serve your audience, man. Just be there for them. Give them something awesome. That's maybe, it doesn't always have to be another $400 million AAA video game. Sometimes you can just do a couple little things to remind your hardcore people that like you actually give a shit. What do you know? A little bit goes a long way sometimes. All right, guys, now we will continue with more of like the normal run of news. Another one here that's kind of dated because this was kind of like late last week kind of news, but Microsoft went over their Q4 fiscal year 26 earnings. And spoiler alert, Xbox is in really bad shape, but that's kind of to be expected. So here we go. From VGC, Asha Sharma says that they expect to return to growth by this time next year. Microsoft posted their financial reports last Wednesday, stating that while the company as a whole was seeing continued growth with revenue and operating income up 18%, the Xbox division was instead seeing reduced revenues. According to the earnings results, which cover the period from April 1st to June 30th, which is basically the time Asha's been around for the most part, Xbox content in services revenue declined 10% compared to the same quarter four results in the previous year. And guess what? The results were the year before. They were down. Things were bad because things are bad at Xbox. But hardware revenue also declined according to Microsoft with a 13% drop compared to quarter four fiscal year 25. This has been a reoccurring situation for Xbox throughout the past financial year. Xbox's Q3 earnings report showed that Xbox content services revenue was down 5% based on the same period last year, and that hardware revenue was down 33%. So, I mean, I guess not that bad compared to last time. It's pretty bad. In Q2, earnings result also showed a year-on-year decline of 5% and 32% respectively, while Q1 showed a growth of 1% in content and services, but a 29% decline in hardware revenue. So, I mean, they got to be selling Xbox Series consoles are probably selling like, what are they selling? Like 50, 60,000 Xbox consoles like a month or something? Like what are the sales of this fucking platform at this point? This is abysmal. Posting on Twitter, Asha Sharma stated that while Xbox saw new players trying its services for the first time in the past financial year, that hasn't yet resulted in notable growth. But the expectation was that the company would start to see growth again by the end of fiscal year 2027, which ends June 30th next year. In fiscal year 26, over 200 million new players came to Xbox and our games, but our business did not grow with our audience, Sharma stated. Now, of course, that number is bullshit because it's including people playing Xbox games on PlayStation and Candy Crush on iPhones and all this random bullshit that doesn't matter. She says, quote, "We need to close the gap by investing in our player values. That will take time, but we expect to return to growth by the end of fiscal year 27. During Microsoft's presentation, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella referred to Xbox's decline, stating that the company was in the process of undertaking a reset, mentioned by Asha in the past. Quote, "When it comes to Xbox, we are making necessary decisions required across all content portfolios, platform, and operations to reset the business for long-term growth." So, right now we're in the 100-day reset phase. And then beginning sometime in September, we should be getting into the whatever the phase is that's supposed to fix the problem, implement the new solution, introduce the world to the new Xbox, and make things start to trend in the right direction again. So I very much look forward to seeing what the fuck Xbox has to do and say come this fall and winter that is going to magically turn things around for Xbox. I very, very, very much look forward to Asha being right, as I pray and hope for a world where Xbox makes a recovery and remains relevant. But I just don't see it happening. I mean, these numbers are so abysmal. We're talking, year over year declines on hardware just constantly, to the point where it's like, it's like you sell 100 Xbox consoles, right? Then you have a 30% decline. So now you're selling 70. Then you have a 30% decline. Then you have a 30% decline. It's like at some point you're just selling like 2 Xboxes. It just doesn't make sense anymore. And I'm just wondering, how long they can keep this shit up before they had to say like, hey, we we can't do this shit anymore. We got to get out of hardware. Because, I mean, I know Asha's job is to turn things around. She's probably here for like 2 years to fix some shit and then get the hell out. But like, I mean, we better see some shit start to get fixed in the next 6 months or so, or else we're really probably never going to see Xbox make any kind of recovery. That is Asha's job at the end of the day. She is going to be the one to fix this stuff or to set it off into the sunset. And it's going to move fast. Like, when we really stop and think about it and look back on it, like what's going to happen with Xbox is either going to happen very immediately or the thing's going to die. Like, I just think that's where we are. I'm thinking about like Halo Studios talking about how they have like nothing in development right now and how they're just an absolute mess of a studio. It's like, don't worry about it. You might not even be here to have to worry about the next Halo game. Don't even worry about it. This might all be over by the time it's your turn to put out a new game. Anyway, we'll get back to that some other time. But yeah, the numbers are bad. Let's talk about some good numbers just to keep some things positive, which is that apparently Xbox Play Anywhere support is on the incline. It's on the up and up. So there's still a lot of opportunity to improve here, but this graph released by Korean Xbox News data shows that Xbox is steadily approaching a roughly 50% ratio for new games that launch on Xbox, allowing users to take advantage of Play Anywhere, meaning that, you know, like back in January, it was at a point where it's like maybe 1 in every 3 games that came to Xbox had Play Anywhere. And now it's about 50% of games that come to Xbox are Play Anywhere titles, which is great. It's seeing a steady month over month increase where, you know, more and more games that come to Xbox are part of the Play Anywhere program. And let me see this part. Yeah, total Xbox games released, Xbox Play Anywhere games. So yeah, it's basically at 50%. So if a new game is announced and released for Xbox, obviously if it's a first party game, it's a guarantee it's Play Anywhere. But if it's a third party game, you got yourself like about a 50-50 chance, which is really exciting. I love Play Anywhere. I think once you embrace engaging with Xbox on like a ROG Ally or PC or whatever, you know, or you're a streamer or whatever, I think the Xbox Play Anywhere initiative is something that is very inherently Xbox, and it feels very intuitive, and it feels very much like something that is an evolution of some sort. You know, we talk about recently how Xbox was such an evolutionary and revolutionary brand back in its early days. What they did with Xbox Live, what they did with Xbox 360, what they tried to do but failed to reach audiences with Xbox One. It was always like a big revolution. You know, it's like, oh, this is or a big evolution. It's both really. But this, it just seems like for the longest time now, they're just focused on, they're like, hey, here's a box. It's powerful. Buy some games, please. Game Pass, please subscribe to Game Pass. It's like, that doesn't really feel like an evolution or a move forward. It feels just kind of like you guys are spinning your wheels trying to figure out how to make this shit work, you know? And I feel like Play Anywhere is a pro-consumer, business savvy way to build, maintain, engage an audience, and grow your platform. And I think it's awesome for the consumers to be able to just pick up a game where you left off on your handheld or on your console or on your PC. And as someone who does game that way, like, I think it's freaking great, man. I played Doom, the Dark Ages Revelations that way. I played mostly on my PC. I played maybe about a quarter of it on my Xbox, and I played maybe another 15% on my ROG Ally. Like, I mean, I really jumped around all over the place and played that thing everywhere. And Play Anywhere was a legitimate, awesome feature that helped me enjoy that game to its fullest potential. It's fantastic. But anyway, that's just some exciting news if we want to say something positive about Xbox and the numbers. So with that said, let's continue on and talk about some more exciting and positive news in the world of Xbox, going back to the backwards compatibility conversation. So this is from VGC, as relayed by The Verge. The next two stories are things that The Verge kind of helps spread word of. Xbox's backwards compatibility plans for PC will extend beyond games released for the OG Xbox, according to leaked documents from The Verge, which was sent to developers by Microsoft. Last month, Xbox announced that 4 games released for the original Xbox, Blinks the Timesweeper, Conquer Live and Reloaded, Crimson Skies, and Fusion Frenzy, are now available to play on PC. The document stated that that they will extend to Xbox 360 games in the future, with developers being able to opt in to make their previous Xbox 360 games available for release on PC. According to that document, Xbox 360 games added to the service will be playable on Xbox PCs, including the Xbox app on Windows PCs, handheld devices like the ROG Ally, and next-gen Project Helix console, which reports suggest will essentially have the DNA of a gaming PC. Developers will also be able to decide whether or not to make their old Xbox 360 games backwards compatible on PC and Helix, and will also be in control of each game's price and whether it's available on Game Pass. The feature will reportedly roll out between 2027 and 2028 across next-gen devices, suggesting that we may have some time yet until PC owners can play Xbox 360 games through official backwards compatibility. The document also states that the full launch of backwards compatibility for original Xbox games on PC will be coming in October. Another like Xbox 25th anniversary kind of thing, meaning that the four games currently available should be joined by many more soon. The 4 existing games, which are included in Game Pass, have received new features, including 4K 4x resolution scaling, VSync support, and texture filtering, as well as anti-aliasing and more. Xbox also confirmed last month that achievements will be added to these titles in the future. So original Xbox games that had never had achievements will be able to have them. Xbox plans to add them to both console and PC versions in the coming months. So we're talking Xbox PC will have OG Xbox games, Xbox 360 games, and achievements for games that never had achievements. So this is really, they're really setting up Xbox Helix to be like, what if a gaming PC had always been an Xbox just as much as any other generation of Xbox? And I think that's awesome. The idea that your console, your PC, all these things will just ideally support all things Xbox. Now, will there be 100% compatibility between, games that were released on OG and Xbox 360 on PC and backwards compatibility? No, there's always going to be that, that because of that licensing switch, the thing that publishers and developers have to agree to, there's always going to be a game here, game there that we're all pissed about because, it's not on the backwards compatibility list. It's not on the PC Xbox list, but the majority of games will be. And it sounds like everything Xbox One and later will be, because it won't apply to these backwards compatibility restraints. So it's really just going to be everything is on Xbox and PC with very rare exception, and everything has achievements, and your Xbox is your PC and your PC is your Xbox and all the rest. And this is a very, very exciting prospect. Now, I'm a little surprised how long some of this is going to take. It seemed like this initiative was going to be a little sooner. I guess they're really just ready for the most part to talk about OG Xbox, but it sounds like by the end of this year, we're going to have a pretty robust feature set and catalog of games for OG Xbox on PC. And then sometime in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll probably see the same happen again, but with Xbox 360 on PC, which is going to be even more crazy. I just cannot wait to play Sonic Unleashed on the PC for the first time natively through the Xbox app. I look forward to it. I know my PC will be able to run that game much better, and it will look and run much better than it does on 360. And I appreciate you, Jesus Christ, for making that happen. Let's see, what else? I don't have too much more to add to that. The only thing I'm thinking is I'm still a little worrisome about what's going to happen with Helix. Cause I can't imagine the box that Sarah Bond was talking about is going to be what they're putting out. I'm like, they got to be reworking what Helix is behind the scenes. There's just no way that's going to be this $2,000 box that you buy from Xbox to play Steam games in your living room. It just doesn't even make sense to me, but I don't know. We'll wait and see. We shall know soon enough. All right. Continuing on with this Verge reporting, Xbox's solution for letting players use their discs on disc-free devices may be coming as soon as this month. Last month, it was reported that Xbox was working on a feature codenamed Disc to Digital, which is being tried out by internal testers. The feature lets players insert a compatible Xbox disc and receive a digital license for it, essentially turning it into a digital version that acts as if it had been bought through the Xbox store, and therefore no longer needs to have the disc in the drive. Now The Verge reports that it's received a document recently sent to developers which suggests that the feature will be rolling out soon. According to the publication, the report says that the public beta for the program was supposed to take place in July, but before rolling out into general availability in August. Now, we're all living in August, so the plan reportedly to test the program didn't come to fruition. It got delayed. It's not clear whether August Target rollout will still happen, if it's still on plan or not, or whether it will get delayed into sometime in the future. But it does appear that the feature should be expected in the coming weeks or months rather than in 2027 or beyond. So look forward to that. This to digital thing, I think, could be a huge optical win for Xbox. It could be a huge good guy Xbox move in a time where they need all the goodwill they can fucking get. So I don't know. I like this. I know a lot of people feel like this is an insufficient solution. I just appreciate that there's any solution at all, because so far PlayStation has no solution, and it seems like there's not a heavy push to do much of anything on any platform. So trying to take a page of Nintendo's book and doing some kind of game key card type thing, I think, is a way better solution than just being like, fuck y'all, I assume with the Xbox Helix, even though it won't have a disk drive, that you'll be able to get some third-party external disk drive, plug it in via USB to your Helix, and then if you have games that you need to add to your account that are physical, you can do so by plugging in and utilizing that external hard drive for that purpose. Now, the other thing they note is that this will also apply to Xbox Play Anywhere. So you have a game, it's a physical game, you put the disc in your disk drive, you get a digital license to play it digitally on your console, and if it's a Play Anywhere title, you get the license to play it on your PC as well. That's fucking awesome. So you'll be able to stream it, you'll be able to do Play Anywhere, you'll be able to play it natively, like whatever. I think that's so cool. And I'm excited for them to talk about it so we can really learn the technology behind it. But right now, I assume it's something like every disc is unique. So when you put the disc in your console, Xbox generates a code for that disc based on some kind of code or barcode on that disc, and then it basically connects to the internet. It says, here's a digital entitlement to that game, and then if you put that disc in another Xbox, like your friend's Xbox, it will say, hey, this unique disc already has an entitlement associated with it. If you put this in this Xbox, you'll be taking it away from this user and giving it to this user, and that's how it kind of knows, which is just an incredibly smart, savvy, and resourceful way of solving this problem. In a world where PlayStation is basically just like, go fuck yourself, you'll buy our console anyway. So I really appreciate this feature. It's not the most perfect foolproof solution, but it is very much appreciated and very nice. What's not very nice, however, is that Xbox console prices are going up again in Europe and in the UK. So yeah, the US just got bent over with our prices, with consoles now being like anywhere from $500 to $800 for an Xbox in the US. But it's happening across the European continent and stuff as well, where the Series S 512 gigabyte model has gone up like €150 now to €500. The 1 terabyte Series S has gone up to €600. The Xbox Series X digital edition is now €750 or $800 for the one with a disk drive. In the UK, you better get good at weightlifting because those pounds are going up, baby. If you have the 512 gigabyte version of the Series S, it's going from 300 pounds to 430. The 1 terabyte model is going from 350 pounds to 520. The digital version of the Series X is going from 450 pounds to 620. And the disk drive classic Series X, the day one launch device that most of us have, that we've had since November of 2020, is going from 500 to 670 pounds, which is cheaper, whatever. When you consider the conversion costs and everything, it's pretty much the same as it is in the US. But I guess it's fewer euros or US dollars, but the British pound, I think, is a little heftier. So it pretty much just evens out. This is bad. This is bad news. I'm sorry I know we have some listeners across the pond and in Europe and whatnot. And so I apologize to you guys that you have to deal with this. Hopefully you guys already have your Xboxes and this doesn't really affect you directly, but man, this just continues to suck. And remember, the thing Xbox said is, they hoped another price increase wasn't going to be necessary, and that they spent several months trying to work with suppliers for other options. And they said, unfortunately, the console storage and memory price increases have raised the price of Xbox manufacturing by 2.5 times, and they expect it to more than double by the fall of 2027. So again, let me reiterate what this means. By October, November next year, in about 14 months, Xbox, at their current trajectory, suspects that the manufacturer cost of an Xbox Series X console by the fall of 2027, in 14 months, will cost 5 times what it cost them originally. I mean, bro, think about this. Just imagine Microsoft makes the Xbox Series X and they sell it break even. They don't make a profit. They don't take a loss. Let's just imagine break even. They probably make a little profit on it, but let's just imagine break even. So the console was $500 in 2020. Imagine it cost them $500 to make an Xbox Series X in 2020. It cost $2,500 in 2027 to make a 7-year-old device. This doesn't make sense. Guys, hang your fucking politicians. Hang them by their necks. Make them suffer. This is not okay. This is all man-made bullshit. These are fake problems that our governments have enabled, encouraged, and facilitated. Like, this is not okay. Not because your Xbox is going up in price, but because your whole world is being affected by this shit. This is abject evil that is happening here. Again, not because your Xbox is expensive, but because the fact that things like this are even allowed to happen. It's indicative of a much bigger problem. This is fucking wild, man. Good luck, Project Helix. I have no concept of what that thing could even begin to cost. Because if we're talking about 7-year-old hardware costing $2,500 to make, what the fuck does that mean about, what the hell does that mean about some top end, brand new PC all-in-one hybrid device? Like, holy shit, what's that going to be, like $6,000 or something? Now, obviously, I don't think the Xbox Series X is going to be sold at any point in time for anywhere near $2,500. But if the manufacturing price goes up by 5 times, I mean, we're probably looking at like a $1,200 Xbox worst case scenario for like a Series X. Like, at that point, dude, Microsoft, just don't even bother. Just take it off store shelves and be like, hey, we're done. We're packing up. We're done here. Like, you have everyone's blessing. Nobody wants to see you have to whimper out like that. Like, that's just fucking rough. Just give up at that point. All right, let's start to get into the roundup phase. We got a couple quick ones here. Let's talk about some sales numbers. So this is pretty fucking concerning. Matt Piscatella, who works for the formerly NPD Group, but the numbers tracking association Circana, which tracks units sold and things like that, like video game sales data. Pretty fucking accurate. It's about the most accurate one out there. They're within a relatively safe margin of acceptability here. But they're talking about Halo Campaign Evolved and what a weird sales story it has been. So Matt Piscatella takes to Blue Sky and says the following: according to Circana's player engagement tracker, on July 28th, Halo Campaign Evolved was ranked 4th in the US, on Xbox platform. 8% of the total Xbox players on that date launched the game, while placing 14th place on Steam, meaning 2% of active users were playing it that day, and 29th place on PlayStation. That is insane, meaning 1% of active users on PlayStation were playing Halo on July 28th, the day it came out. That's insane. He goes on to say the average console player engaged with Halo Campaign Evolved for over 2 hours on the 28th, which is with the average Steam player spending a little over 1 hour in the game. Steam concurrent users are good for talking about Steam concurrent users, and that's about it. He says to clarify that, like, talking about, how Steam numbers are kind of a different story. The game is currently at the top of the PlayStation Store's best-selling list, so it's doing fine on PlayStation. What this does show is the massive challenge for new games in an environment dominated by live service behemoths. And no, the game was not free on Game Pass. Subscriptions do cost money. Okay, so what that basically broke down to, though, was something to the effect of the game sold it was like 200. What was it? They said it was something like 250,000 units sold on PlayStation, but compared to Black Ops 1 and 2, which sold 8 and 3 million units. So you'll remember last month on PlayStation, because PlayStation doesn't have backwards compatibility with PS3, there's been no way to play Black Ops 1 and 2 on that console, since the PS3 era. So last month, Activision, basically, it's not even a port or a remake or anything. It's just, I guess it's a port. They just basically got the game running on PS4 and released it on PlayStation storefronts. So the game Black Ops 2, with no additions or changes, just the game, was brought forward to be sold on PS4, Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. They were sold for $50 each, with DLC being a separate cost of admission. And they released them both on the same day, sometime in early July. So Black Ops 2, a game that came out in 2012, not a remake, not a remaster, not a new interpretation, just Black Ops 2 being ported forward so you can play it on your current PlayStation, sold 8 million units on PlayStation 5 in the month of July. And apparently Black Ops 1 sold 3 million, which is a little surprising to me that, first of all, that Black Ops 2 did so much better. I thought they'd be a little closer, but that is fucking insane that 11 million units of a game from 16 years ago and a game from 14 years ago were sold on PlayStation last month because Activision essentially ported the game forward so that you could now play it on current hardware. That is absolutely fucking insane. Meanwhile, Halo comes to PlayStation for the first time ever. This is like Mario coming to PlayStation. It's insane. And only like 300,000 people come out for it. Like, that's fucking rough. Apparently it sold better on Xbox than it did on PlayStation. It was like 400 or 500,000 copies sold on Xbox. And that's including the fact, and that's not even including the fact that a lot of people obviously played it through Game Pass. So like, Xbox fans came out for this game more than PlayStation fans came out for it. So, I mean, this is a huge problem. I know you could point to it and be like, well, Jesse, come on. Even though Halo was like a reimagining, a remake of Halo, and Call of Duty was just a forwards port of an old game, it's like Call of Duty is all about the multiplayer, and those games had the multiplayer. Halo is all about the multiplayer, but that Halo game just had the campaign with no multiplayer. That could be really the crux of it all, right? It's just like, without the multiplayer, people don't give a shit. They'll say, I'll see you later. Wake me up when you got Halo 2 and 3 with their multiplayer suites. Then we're talking. Maybe that's what it's all about. But it sounds deeply concerning that you put Halo... I mean, you soiled the Xbox brand. I mean, you put a permanent scar on the Xbox brand. Xbox will 100% never be the same again because they put Mario on PlayStation. I mean, that's what happens when you put Halo on PlayStation. And all for what? For fucking a couple $1 million? Are you kidding me? A couple hundreds of millions of dollars? I mean, what is $1 billion? Let's look at this. Let's look at this. $50 a pop times, I don't know, 250,000 units sold is $12.5 million. So you sold out the defining core identity of your entire player base and console brand for like $40 million, and you're fucking Xbox. I mean, you're Microsoft. Satya Nadella wipes his ass cheeks with $40 million. You didn't need to do that. That was a waste of money. That was a waste of time. That was a massive slap in the... I feel like Satya Nadella personally broke into my house in the middle of the night and slapped me across the face with his dick by putting Halo on Xbox. And you did it for like $40 million? Dude, the US government gives you more of our tax dollars to make technologies to bomb kids in the Middle East than you got from fucking putting Halo on PlayStation. I mean, like, you know, it's like, it's the stupid Avengers meme. It's the Thanos meme. Like, you know, what did it cost you? Everything. You know, it's like you got your fucking brands all over PlayStation. You ripped the Band-Aid off. You did the hardest thing, right? Now all your shit, you spread your seed all across the land. You fucked every hooker in the strip club, right? Or whatever. And what do you have to show for it, right? It cost you everything, but what do you have to show for it? Now you're just some lonely, sad dude no one wants to hang around with herpes. That's you, Xbox. You got fucking herpes. You went sleeping around with PlayStation. PlayStation gave you some fucking genital warts. And now we're all just a little disappointed and sad and disgusted with you. And for what? 40 million bucks? I mean, I'll sell my soul to the devil for 40 million. But Microsoft? I don't know. And don't quote my math. I can't do math for shit. So anyway, it's not even like, fuck you, Xbox, you suck so bad. It's more like I'm just gonna speak for real, like, as embarrassing as this may or may not sound, it kind of fucking hurts, man. Like, it's not my multi-million-dollar brand or whatever. I'm just some fucking asshole who grew up playing Xbox. But like, as someone who's as emotionally invested and tied to this brand and these video games and everything, as someone who's basically been raised on Xbox, like, it kind of hurts to see, man. It's like watching your childhood hero like fucking like addicted to fentanyl, on this, underneath the bridge of a highway overpass, like begging for change so you can just get one more hit. This is like, it's like going on a vacation to New York City and you go, oh gee, I hope I see Spider-Man while I'm there. And you see Spider-Man, but not the way you want to see Spider-Man, because he's offering to blow you in the back alley for 50 cents. That's what this is like. It's just sad. But anyway, they don't care. They don't care. Speaking of people who don't care and will always do the shitty thing, in the name of a dollar, let's talk about EA Games. Fuck you guys. Like, you finally had me by the balls because Battlefield 6 is just so darn good. But EA have announced that they have officially completed their acquisition. The Saudi Arabian government now owns Electronic Arts. That's so fucking cool. This American company that makes video games for our entertainment is now owned by a bunch of fucking oil tycoons who are culturally regressed into the fucking caveman ages and are objectively evil and awesome. They did it with the help of other investors like Silver Lake and Affinity Partners. It's so great to know that Jared Kushner, that the president's corrupt, evil fucking son-in-law, is a part of taking the team that gives you football and Battlefield video games that bring you joy when you're having a rough day, and said, what if we had a bunch of fucking molesters, pedophiles, war criminals, oil tycoons, murderers, oppressionists, just all these motherfuckers join together and buy the publisher that owns the IP rights to Army of Two. Wouldn't that be awesome? Hey guys, remember SSX3 for the Xbox? Remember listening to fucking Yellow Card's Way Away while shredding the slopes of a fucking snow-capped mountain? Well, now get ready for beheadings of LGBT people. Like, this is fucking sad, man. It's just, here's what I have to say to you, Mr. Bin Salman. You are a gay, and you might be out there. Maybe the reason why you hang people is because when you look down at your tiny pee-pee, you realize you wish you were hung. You ever think about that? Alrighty, guys, let's close out this very Xbox-centric podcast talking about Xbox finally. Game Pass update. Here you go. It's your first Game Pass update for August. PSA Gears of War E-Day open beta early access starts August 6th. This weekend you can play Gears of War E-Day if you have Game Pass Ultimate or if you pre-order the game. If not, wait till next week. It's just open to everyone. But that's first things first. Second of all, available now through Game Pass, Heretic plus Hexen has been out for a year now, this collection. So now it is available in Game Pass Premium, not just Ultimate, which is crazy because I've had this now for a while and still have not played it. I've been meaning to play it for a year. Beast of Reincarnation, we talked about. It's a day one Game Pass game. That's out now. Monsters Are Coming comes day one Game Pass. It is available, it's now available on Xbox Series X and Cloud Gaming, it says. And then Power Wash Simulator 2 comes to Game Pass Premium. Coming soon, Bounty Star, Date Everything, and Grounded 2 in-game preview come to Game Pass Premium. With Date Everything, it's Game Pass Ultimate. I don't care. Ball Pit comes to Game Pass Premium. That's a get there on August 12th. August 13th, Cricket 26 comes. Oh my God. Mio Memories in Orbit comes on August 13th to Game Pass Premium. Sandustry, like industry, but Sandustry, is a day one Game Pass game coming out on the 13th of Agosto. And then Egging On August 18th will come to Game Pass Premium, joining Game Pass Ultimate and PC. But you don't just earn games, you also lose games because that's how life works. So a couple really good games are leaving Game Pass on August 15th, so maybe give them a try before they're gone. Menace, I don't know what that is, which is a game preview. Atlas Fallen, which I actually like that game, it's a solid amount. Aliens Fire Team Elite, which I meant to play but never got around to, and Firewatch, which is a really excellent indie game, a little walk and sim type game from 2014-ish, 2015. Anyway, I think it came to Xbox like 2016 or 17, but it came to PlayStation like 14, 15. It doesn't matter. Play them before they're gone, or don't go crying to your mama, as Miss Williams would say. But with that said, guys, I'm going to take a quick water break, come right back. We'll bitch and moan about Halo, and then get into listener comments. See you in a minute. All right, guys, let's hop into the games I've been playing. We'll start with the big one, Halo. Campaign involved. Obviously, this is the big game we're talking about. I have surprisingly not finished this game. I thought I would have plowed through it this past weekend. It's just turned out to be one of those, like, I'm on one of those stretches right now where I just can't get the free time needed to really sit down and get some quality gaming in. It's just not really coming together for me right now, but I did play a decent chunk of it. I did get through all of the bonus missions, and then I am halfway through the campaign. I played a little bit of it with Cronky, and I played a little bit of it with one of my buddies. So I've only played the campaign through co-op, and I played the bonus missions by myself. But you know, whatever. I've seen enough of it to where I definitely have some opinions. And I'll be honest with you. Once I'm done with this game, once I roll credits on it, probably not going back to it at least anytime soon. I don't feel super compelled by continuing to play this game. But let me say some positive stuff first, okay? And yeah, let's just get into some positive stuff first. We'll start with the campaign, not the bonus missions. I think the game is a lot of fun to play. Halo Combat Evolved, despite being my least favorite Halo game, is still a really, really good game. And the core of this game that's underneath all of the remake stuff is still a very, very fun game. I very much enjoy playing. It is fun to shoot Covenant in the face with an arsenal of weapons, whether they are human or Covenant. And this game holds up really well after 25 years. That is what I will say about this game. I am halfway through it, and I'm enjoying my playthrough of the game. That being said, okay, I'm not super bothered by the visuals. I know I had the complaints earlier about the Unreal Engine 5 look to the game. It still kind of gets me sometimes, but for the most part, I've warmed up to the way it looks, and it's mostly fine to me. I think artistically, graphically, it works for me. I don't have any serious complaints. There are some minor tweaks. Is it my favorite looking Halo game? Hell no, but I think all things concerned, this isn't the hill I want to die on. It's not my biggest gripe with the game. I accept the way it looks. And honestly, if you're not looking at it from the perspective of does it look like Halo or not, it is a visually beautiful game. I mean, it looks good. The physics are good. The graphics are good. The water looks great. The sand looks great. Graphics just all around are just a really impressive sight to behold. I'm not a big graphics guy. I can appreciate a good looking game, but to me, graphics are not really a selling point. And graphics are not like a reason to like or dislike a game for the most part. So, you know, it's nice to have good graphics. I won't say no to it, but it's just like not a huge deal to me. That being said, there are some artistic things. I know I see some people complaining about how like the Forerunner structures look too shiny and sci-fi like, but it's like it basically looks the same as it did in Halo Infinite, if you ask me. There are some artistic changes I actually really like whenever you're in like the Covenant ship and stuff, in those bonus missions, or like whenever you're in missions where you're in Covenant facilities and stuff. Like if you go up those like grav lifts, like elevator things, the artistic effect and flair it does when you use like grav lifts and stuff is really cool looking. It does this like scratchy, like Spider-Verse, like dual, like shaking look thing to it where it has like a distortion field kind of filter on it. I think that looks really cool. There are things like that, like little artistic choices like that in the game that I really appreciate and find interesting. But for the most part, it is a good looking game with some room for subjective preference as to how they approached it. But overall, yeah, if you're comparing this to the game that was on Xbox 25 years ago, it is a very impressive game to look at visually, and that's nice. Okay, let's talk about some other things. Positive. I like I like a lot of the changes, actually. So I am not nuanced enough of a player, I suppose, to be able to understand this, but I know there has long been a contingency of people who hate that Halo has sprint in it ever since 343 got their hands on it. I am not one of those people. I have always viewed sprint as a natural evolution of the series for them to have added sprint, and I know there's a case to be made. Well, this game was built without sprint in mind, so cramming sprint into it just makes it feel kind of awkward in places, especially in more linear, smaller, more compact portions of the game. I disagree. I feel like the sprinting feels natural. It feels fine. I have no problem with it whatsoever. The aim down sights doesn't really bother me at all. I liked aim down sights in Halo 5 in particular, the way they implemented it, and I feel like it should remain a staple of the series. The controls and everything about the game feel very modern Halo to me. Now, not entirely. There are some tweaks you need to make to the controls. The camera pan is horrible. When you first start the game, it doesn't feel as pick up and play as some previous Halo games, but I'm just saying, like, the button mapping to me feels right. So there's another positive thing. I love the mix of weapons and the addition of weapons that weren't originally in Halo Combat Evolved to try and make the game more canonically inclusive of other types of events, like having brutes and stuff in the game. I think that's awesome. I think it's cool how the hunters, you can shoot them on the back and like get that little pad off their backs and then have expose that weak spot. The fact that you can shoot the brutes in that special little spot and then they go like berserk mode and start fighting themselves and stuff. I think there are lots of cool things you can do. The things they've done to change the enemies. Elites weirdly die way too quickly. I feel like they take no bullets to kill, which is weird. And I feel like they sometimes just overflood the game with enemies to try and make up for the fact that enemies just seem to take fewer bullets to die in this version of the game, which isn't like a deal breaker. It's just different, and I noticed it. But I think the guns feel excellent. This is probably the thing I will say about the game that is the most complimentary thing I can say. The variety of the weapons is great to have, really fresh, and makes the game a lot more fun and interesting to play. And the gunplay, which is the most king and important aspect of a Halo game, feels excellent. I think the guns in this game feel so satisfying to use. The human weapons, the Covenant weapons, the brute weapons, all of it feels so good to play. And in the bonus missions, I love that they just open the floodgates in the no pun intended, in the bonus missions and just include a wacky wide array of weapons. It is so fun. The beam rifle, the plasma rifle, those two guns in particular, I really appreciate. I'm always more of a humans weapon kind of guy over the Covenant weapons, so of course I gravitate towards that Halo 1 shotgun I love so much. The Halo 1 Magnum feels a little nerfed in this game, which is a choice. You don't have multiplayer, so why feel the need to do that? I thought that was a little weird, but the AR feels classic. The BR is, it's weird having it there. The SMG from Halo 3, having that back is super nice. I love or I guess Halo 2, but also Halo 3. A nice addition as well. I really, really love the way this game feels to play once you get into a groove. And I particularly think the base game, the Halo Combat Evolved experience feels really good. And I've not gotten to too many points where they've made dramatic changes to like level design. I know the library is like kind of totally reimagined, but for the most part, I find it to be a pretty tasteful, faithful remake. Although I wish, and here's the thing, and maybe this is where we can start getting into criticism. Cronky and I both agreed on this. He mentioned it, and I couldn't agree more. It's just that Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary was your opportunity to faithfully remaster the game. And then the Master Chief Collection was your opportunity to preserve that in a collection with all the other Halo games that are brought forward and covered through backwards compatibility for time memoriam. The way I see it, Halo Campaign Evolved was not your opportunity to make Halo Combat Evolved look pretty for modern hardware. It was your opportunity to go batshit crazy with it and do what you want. Change plot points, add levels, remove levels, reimagine the whole goddamn game for all I care. Add new characters, do whatever you want. This is a clean slate. Reimagine, do what Square Enix did with Final Fantasy VII. Just say, what if this was Halo Combat Evolved? Because we don't need like the 7th iteration of Combat Evolved. I feel like this could have been such an awesome point for them to kind of like hit reset. And Cronky speculated, he was like, I wonder if this will be like, you know, like this will like spin off and start like a new soft reboot for Halo where it's like campaign evolved, and then they can do like a reimagining of 2 and a reimagining of 3, and then they can make like a new Halo 4 that's not related to Halo 4. That's like a new continuation, kind of like what they were going to do with Dead Space remake, but didn't get greenlight because the evil fucking EA people who are now owned by Jared Kushner did not greenlight a sequel to Dead Space. But anyway, the idea being like you can kind of be like, all right, well, the original Halo series kind of like didn't work out. We ended up just kind of bitching out and telling most of the story in random books that no one ever read. So let's kind of reset. We'll do remakes of 1, 2, and 3. We'll change a couple things around, and then we'll do a new Halo 4 and beyond with this soft reboot, right? And I thought, wow, that is an idea that kind of makes sense. I fucking hate it. And I told Cronky to stop talking because I never want to think about that idea ever again. It makes me fucking miserable. It makes me want to sit next to my toilet all night while I continuously vomit. That is how I feel about that idea. So I'm now going to shut that idea down and not entertain it for another moment. Okay. The bonus missions in this game suck. I don't know how to say this. I have never played a level in Halo where I'm like, yo, that level sucks. Like, people bitch and moan about like the library and stuff from the first Halo game, but like, no, these bonus missions suck. Everything sucks. There's nothing preserved. There's nothing to talk about. There's no spoilers. I'll just tell you, it sucks. It opens up. Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson are on this Covenant ship, trying to get some fucking information or whatever. Who gives a shit? The story is useless. It's totally lame. Who cares? It's lame as shit. There's like a complete absence of music throughout these bonus missions, which is great. They're just like, yeah, let's just like not even score these missions at all. So that's weird. They're weirdly just quiet. Master Chief goes up to these grunts and goes boo, and then hops off and just doesn't shoot them, and they just start running around, and then like there's this weird pause, and then the cutscene ends, and then there's this weird pause, and then the game starts, and you can start shooting those grunts that you chose not to shoot in the cutscene for some reason. And then Sergeant Johnson just kind of like sneaks in the background. He's like, let me out, Chief, let me out. And then he's like, oh, I forgot about you, and he opens up this like other pod thing and transport pod thing, and then Sergeant Johnson comes out, and then for the rest of the 3 missions, Master Chief talks way too goddamn much. It is really, really bad, and the writing is horrible, and Sergeant Johnson's new actor sucks. And let me back up. His actor doesn't suck. He just sounds nothing like Johnson. He acts nothing like Johnson. And more importantly than the actor, because I don't want to fault the actor, the writing sucks. The writing is so bad. This weird buddy cop Master Chief Sergeant Johnson thing doesn't work at all. It's really weird how Master Chief just feels like he can't shut up. It makes me wonder if they were trying to write a Halo game or a Deadpool movie. But yeah, I mean, just Master Chief is insufferable. He might as well just be making fucking dad jokes throughout the whole game. It's so bad. The cutscenes are weird. There's just like these random pauses. You'll hear a lot of people bitching about the parts where Sergeant Johnson like turns to the camera and is like, the scenes are like directed like he's breaking the fourth wall. It's just weird. I will say this. These missions are unequivocally, without a doubt, uninspired, lazy, boring as hell. And the spirit tone writing and narrative of these missions is definitively not Halo. Like, I say this as someone who has loved Halo 4 since it came out in 2012, has loved and defended the fuck out of Halo 5 since 2015. I am the guy who had 343's back in 2012 and 2015, optimistic as hell about Halo Infinite, really liked Halo Infinite, with, soured on it over time with additional thought, realizing how much they kind of betrayed their own vision and their own story, but still, in a vacuum, really likes Halo Infinite because on its own, it's an excellent game. And I went back and watched some gameplay of Halo Infinite. I was like, oh my fucking God, Halo Infinite is so much cooler than this game. But, man, this is the first time I gotta say it. I am with those obnoxious, like, Bungie lifers and those people who are like, oh, I used to have this annoying friend in high school, Jake. I'll just say his fucking name because he's annoying. Jake. And Jake used to say, oh, what do you mean Halo 4? Halo ended with Halo 3. And I was like, wait, what? You don't know about Halo 4? You'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Halo ended with Halo 3. It was a beautiful trilogy, and then they never made another one. I'm like, oh, you're being like oh, you're being like facetious. Fuck you, dude. And like, he was one of those people. He was like, oh, there is no Halo 4. Oh, Bungie's the only one that can make a Halo game. Now, I am becoming one of those people with this game where I'm like, this is just not Halo. And honestly, it's a complete and utter embarrassment that this is what Halo Studios has. I mean, listen, I don't mean to be a dick, because normally I'm not that guy. Normally I'm like, guys, go easy on the developers. Guys, you don't understand the context. Guys, we don't know what it's like to make games. Halo 5 releases in 2015. Definitely has some problems. I won't, as someone who loves Halo 5 is my second favorite Halo of all time, behind Halo 3. Halo 5 has some serious problems, especially in the narrative department. The game is rushed. The narrative is under-fleshed out. They definitely could have been a couple levels longer. There definitely could have been a few more Master Chief levels, a couple more interactions with Spartan Law, a couple more combat scenes, some more variety in your bosses. They could have fleshed out the themes and ideas of the game a little more. They could have done more to take what was an excellent idea for a narrative and fleshed it out into something that execution-wise was as excellent as it was conceptually. I agree, Halo 5 has issues. That being said, Halo 5 was a really great idea with a really fun campaign that was really pretty to look at, fun to play, and had, in my opinion, some of the best level design of any Halo ever. So fun to play. Regardless of what you think about the story, so fun to play. Then the multiplayer, forget about it. I am unapologetically a huge Halo 5 fan. I think Halo 5 is a robust, excellent, highly evolved, but spiritually still intact Halo multiplayer experience that is just unmatched. Honestly, my favorite Halo games of all time in terms of sitting down and playing online is Halo 3 and then Halo 5. Those two games are excellent to me. But anyway, 2015 hits, and then 343 falls off a fucking cliff. From 2015 to 2021, 6 years. It takes you that long to come up with a sequel after Halo games have historically taken about 3 years on average to make. But okay, game development times are going up and up. It's what's happening. You finally get Halo Infinite out. It's in some ways a sequel. It's in some ways just ignoring Halo 5. It's in some ways setting up a bunch of new plot points when it still has a bunch of plot points to address and tie up. And it's a really, really great game that is deeply flawed because it's torn between trying to be a sequel and trying to be a soft reboot. But a really fun game nonetheless. By far not my favorite Halo game, but a really great Halo game nonetheless. And now it's been another 5 years. I cannot believe I'm saying this. It's been another 5 years. It has been 11 years since Halo 5. And all they had to show for it, we're still fucking wondering, okay, what happened? Cortana went bad. She took control of the Guardians. She used them to make some kind of like police state across the galaxy where these Guardians are like overwatching these planets and basically holding humanity hostage to her and the AI race. This is fucking crazy batshit sci-fi lore that I cannot wait to figure out where they go with it. And it's been 11 years. And the next thing they managed to shit out was some half-assed, shitty, less than great iteration, reinterpretation of the first Halo game. I'm taking off my glasses right now and rubbing my eyes and temples. I'm so just, I can't, I'm not even like hamming it up for the podcast. Like talking about it to this extent is genuinely frustrating me because I can't fucking believe this is the world we live in. 2001, Combat Evolved. 2004, Halo 2. 2007, Halo 3. 2009, ODST. 2010, Reach. 2012, Halo 4. 2015, Halo 5. All right, that's pretty fucking good. 2021, Halo Infinite. Oof, that took a while, but game development really is taking a lot longer these days. 2026, Halo 1 remake again, but without the multiplayer, now available on PlayStation with new content that sucks ass. And yeah, it's really bad. What? And here's the craziest part. The reports and the rumors and everything coming out from the Revs Gaming and the Windows Central and all the people who are in the know and have the insider knowledge suggest that Halo Studios, Certain Affinity, a collection of other teams, whatever, have been fucking patty caking this stupid Halo multiplayer project that at one point was a battle royale, then it was an extraction shooter, then it was a big team battle mode, it was some free-to-play multiplayer experience. Recently, they put it on ice. They said, we're not doing that. And now Halo Campaign Evolved is out. And you know what Halo Studios has in the pipeline? 11 years after Halo 5, 5 years after Halo Infinite. You know what they have in the pipeline? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You want to know what happened after Halo 5? Good fucking luck. I hope your great-great-great-great-grandchildren live long enough to figure out what it was, because we sure as hell won't be on this planet by the time it happens. I can't believe it, dude. 5 years since Halo Infinite, a game that was supposed to be a sequel to Halo 5 and kind of only did about 30% of that job, and then set up a live service, Destiny-like 10-year content expansion fucking pathway, and then failed to do even 1% of that, and then set up a bunch of plot points for new shit, and then didn't do anything with that. And now, all these years later, you have a shitty remake of a game you've remade 3 times, and nothing in the pipeline. Right now, they're deciding between either greenlighting a Halo 2 remake, or maybe doing a Halo sequel, or maybe doing something else. Dude, I want to be very careful with this. I'm not advocating for people losing their job or for studio closures or layoffs, but you laid off a large portion of id Software. You laid off a portion of Obsidian. You laid off people from all these different Bethesda teams. You cut studios completely, like Double Fine. You did all of this shit and left Halo Studios untouched. And then Halo Studios finally put out a product and it was shit and had nothing to do with the products they've been setting up. And now they have nothing in the pipeline, allegedly. That, dude, inexcusable. I mean, listen, the buck stops with Microsoft, with Xbox. I'm not blaming Halo Studios for the poor management. I'm blaming Xbox. I'm blaming Matt Booty, dude. Like, I'm formally calling for Matt Booty's job at this point. Not the developers at the studio, but for Matt Booty. The fact that your most tentpole franchise is in this much of a shitty situation because you can't manage the studio responsible for them. That is just unexcusable. Maybe part of the reason why Halo did so poorly on PlayStation is because nobody gives a shit about Halo anymore, because you guys have so poorly managed this franchise. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. And as a correction, by the way, apparently no, it was 350 copies on PlayStation sold, and that was in the month of July. And actually the game did okay. And it's very weird. 350 copies on PlayStation, but 900,000 on Xbox. That's a huge, I mean, way outselling the PlayStation version of the game. I'm surprised by that, which I guess maybe I shouldn't be, but that's very interesting. Anyway, man, here's the thing. I love Halo so much, and this just disappoints the hell out of me. When I turn off my brain and I boot up the campaign and I just play campaign evolved and I ignore the bonus missions and I ignore the context of everything around it, and I just play the game and I enjoy it, and I'm like, oh wow, the graphics are really good and you can run now, and there's new weapons and they made some minor changes and this is really cool. I have a great time. Halo's Halo, like I've been saying it recently. Pizza's pizza, Halo's Halo. You give me a bad Halo game, I'm gonna eat it and say, hey, Little Caesars ain't my favorite, but it sure is pizza, you know? And that's how I feel about Campaign Evolved. It is a 6 out of 10. It is the Little Caesars pizza of Halo games, and it has a million problems, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to say no to more Halo. But I think when you are a game of the prestige and the history and the stature of Halo, and that's the best thing I can say about your latest release, which, by the way, is your follow-up to the massive game you released 5 years ago, then abandoned, which was a follow-up to a massive game you released 6 years prior and abandoned. That's fucking embarrassing. That is low. It is mind-blowing that a few years ago, you guys renamed yourselves from 343 Studios to Halo Studios so you could like hit the reset button and be like, hey, it's a clean slate. Let's try again. And what do you do with that clean slate? Immediately fucking bomb and screw it up again. In fact, I would argue, as someone who likes Halo 4, as someone who likes Halo 5, that you bombed harder this time than you ever did as 343 Studios. So that's pretty fucking lame. I think if you're Xbox, you have to have a serious conversation right now about, do we want to really do Halo 2 Campaign Evolved or whatever? You better have some multiplayer to go with it if that's what you're going to do. You might as well just make some package that's like Halo 2 and 3 multiplayer combined and remade into one package with Halo 2 and 3's campaigns included, because that would be a pretty attractive offering, right? It's a huge Halo multiplayer offering that's very modernized and available on PlayStation for the first time ever with these complete ground up remakes of Halos 2 and 3. That, I think, would be your best bet. But I mean, hey, Halo 2 doesn't need a remake. It had a remake in 2014 when the Master Chief Collection came out, and the cutscenes made by Blur Studios in that version of the game look better than the cutscenes on Halo Infinite or Halo Campaign Evolved or anything that 343 has done recently. So good luck making yourselves look like a bunch of idiots again by trying to outdo Blur Studios, because you will fail at that. Yeah, this is rough. I'm never this down. I'm like, you gotta trust me. Like, I love Halo, man. From 2001 until 2021, I had nothing but great things to say about Halo. And then 2021, I was like, this game's really great. This Halo Infinite's really great, and then by like 2023, I was like, man, Halo Infinite is a really fun game. It's a really good game, but it has a lot of flaws that really bum me out. And now you fast forward to today, I'm just like, fuck Halo Studios. And this is kind of why I went on that tirade at the top of the show about Gears of War. It's just because I'm just so glad that someone in this pantheon of Xbox first party understands the mantle. Here's a Halo phrase: the mantle of responsibility. We're gonna change the lore of the mantle to accommodate the Xbox ecosystem, and the mantle is that the coalition have been tasked by the forerunners, or in this case the fans, with being the champions of OG Xbox IP, and Halo Studios or 343 are jealous because they think that they are the superior species, or in this case a studio, and are very bitter and frustrated with the coalition. But here's the fact of the matter, guys. The coalition is showing Halo Studios how to wipe your fucking ass, tie your shoes, and press your shirts and tie your tie. Because right now, Halo looks like a bunch of fucking amateurs, and the guys of the coalition are like, here's how you make a game that looks like Cliff Bleszinski made it when Cliff Bleszinski had nothing to do with it. And that's what it looks like we're getting with Gears E-Day and with Halo Campaign Evolved and Halo Infinite and whatever the fucking future of this series is. It looks like they handed the keys to the studio to a bunch of fucking monkeys. Although the monkeys might have done a little better, to be honest. I'm usually not this fucking harsh, like, especially towards developers, because the reality is, it's like, I know there are absurdly talented people that work at Halo Studios, and I know there are people whose hearts are 100% in the right place. They're so passionate about Halo. They know it and understand it way more intimately than someone like myself ever could. I know that to be true, but that studio is being so poorly run and so poorly managed that, unfortunately, those people that have that talent, that have that passion, that have that capability, are so silenced and snuffed out of having any kind of opportunity to express themselves and stand out, because that studio is run about as well as a fucking Denny's at 2 a.m. when you're hungover as shit after going out to the club, and all you want is a fucking eggs over my hammy, moon over my, whatever the fuck it's called. And the waitress there is just like, holy shit, I wish I didn't get pregnant and drop out of high school, because I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe I have to serve this asshole. I really can't believe I have to serve this asshole right now. It's 2:30 a.m. I just want to go home and see my kid. Oh my God, he's throwing up in the booth right now. Holy shit, he's really throwing up in the booth right now. I'm going to go hide in the bathroom, play on my phone, and pretend to not be here right now. This is bad. How is this my life? How is this my life? That is Halo right now. Anyway, enough shitting on Halo. I'm going to let you guys do the shitting, and then we'll move on. So Cronky writes in about this whole subject matter and says, I played a few missions on Campaign Evolved, one of the prequel missions and the first 2 of the campaign. I have a few notes to point out. 1, visuals in Unreal, mostly lighting, don't really bother me. I definitely prefer the way Infinite looks, but whatever. 2, the first prequel mission is awful. Absolutely one of the worst missions in the franchise. You were right when you said it's a straight line. You just go room by room and fight multiple waves in each room in the poorly designed arenas. Seeing as these are the only original content in the game, I am very worried for the future of the series. If this is the quality of the design the designers have now, 3, I think they messed up the game feel. It just feels wrong. I don't know how else to put it. Infinite felt good, and the shooting felt weighty, and aiming was snappy. It felt great. This doesn't. It feels like a double A game with AAA visuals. Not much impressed with it. That being said, the main game is much better than the prequel missions. I mostly agree with you. I think once you do a little controller tweaking, it basically feels like Halo, but maybe it's been a minute. Maybe I need to go play Halo 3 or Halo Infinite or something and compare. But I agree. It doesn't feel great on first blush. It is troublesome to see. This is the kind of quality they can put out for new missions in Halo. And honestly, juxtaposing your level design with the level design of veteran Bungie is a really ballsy thing to do. So you better come with your best. Coming with this mess of a 3-mission campaign little thing they put together here is so embarrassing putting up next to Bungie. And they have the audacity to do it anyway. It's rough, man. Cargo Runner writes in about Halo and says, Halo needs to go to a new studio. It's a sad day when Splatoon is better rated than Halo. Halo Studios could be renamed Halo Support Studios with a better team as the lead. That way Halo Studios aren't closed and they might learn to improve by working with a better studio. Amen to that. I love the rumors and the ideas of like, give it to Raven, give it to id, give it to fucking anyone at this point. Let someone make a goddamn Halo game. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a RTS, a third-person shooter, a first-person shooter, a horror survival game about the flood, if people have always asked for. Some more like slowed down, tonally somber game about ODST, like as if they haven't already done that before. I don't fucking know. Do something with Halo, but for the love of Christ, man. At this point, you have been so flippant and so careless with this IP that you might as well just let anyone and everyone do it. Who gives a shit? Let Ubisoft make a fucking Halo game for all we care at this point. It honestly just can't get that much worse than what Halo Studios is giving us. And then Mr. Mal writes in and says, I didn't mention this on the last podcast, but I wanted to thank you for the long talk about buying games to just enjoy them. Oops. Sorry. I'm being negative over here. That being said, my God, Campaign Evolved is so grainy. I wanted to start it on my Series X and wondered what was wrong with the game. At least on PC, I was just able to change a file to improve it. But even then, it's not in the regular settings. I played mostly on my Xbox Ally X, but playing on my PC was definitely the best experience. Unreal Engine 5 just seems to not scale well to less powerful hardware, especially when you can't turn off film grain. Oh, you know what is something that an engine that does scale well to low-end hardware? It's id Tech, which Xbox fucking owns and could have used to do Halo. But no, yeah, they had to go for Unreal Engine. Overall, I still enjoyed myself toward the end of the flood levels, and I enjoy watching this Halo speedrun streamer stream the game. But I can't say I was impressed by the game. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's still fun. If you're a Halo fan, you can't play this and say you had a bad time. Halo is Halo at the end of the day. I mean, the bones and the DNA underneath it all, it's just Halo 1. I mean, it's a good game. It holds up. You have to do a lot more to fuck it up. But that just shouldn't be the takeaway. It just shouldn't be that. We're 6 years removed from Halo 5 and we have some nonsense story that has nothing to do with Halo 5. Now we're 5 years removed from that story and we just have this really poorly done remake of the first game. It's just super frustrating. Like the Coalition has kind of a similar thing going on where it's like, I want that follow-up to Gears of War 5 because Gears 5 ends on a cliffhanger. Tell me what happens next. But even though Gears E-Day is not the game I would have asked for, it's a prequel to the first game. It doesn't continue the story of the fifth game. I have no doubt Gears E-Day is going to be a great game. So at the very least, they're going to be like, yeah, we're stepping away from Gears 5's story continuation. We'll come back to that. But in the meantime, I mean, look how good this prequel to Gears 1 is, you know? But Halo can't even say that because they're just like, oh, you want some closure on what happened in the last two games? Here's a remake of the first game nobody asked for. It's on PlayStation. It has no multiplayer. Come on, guys. Come on, man. It just has no content. For $50, it just has no fucking content. Just something. It just needs something else. But it has nothing. It's a really disappointing package. And I hate to be so negative. So I will drop it from here. Like we'll move on. Like I will continue to play this. I will beat it this weekend. Next week on the show, we'll come back and talk about it. I'll say, hey, I wrapped up Halo Campaign Evolved. I'm assuming I'm going to have a really good time finishing up the campaign. And then I'll move on. And I'll just try to remain somewhat optimistic that maybe things turn around for Halo Studios in the future or for the Halo IP in the future. But man, it's like Halo 5 left me wanting more. Halo Infinite left me satisfied with what I had played, but disappointed with the story I experienced, wanting something more, feeling like I was kind of led on and misdirected. And then now I just feel like I've been kicked in the dick. And that's where I feel with Halo. So I'm going to try to just like put Halo on ice mentally and emotionally for a little while and wait to see if these guys can like figure their shit out, because hopefully they can. Aside from that, I played Splatoon Raiders. I don't really have anything else to add to that. I'm still playing it, slowly trucking along. I really let Halo get in front of that, so don't have much to say there. And then last week, I bragged about this game called Angels Fall First, which I thought looked really good. I was really excited to play. I downloaded it. I coerced Cronky into downloading it and playing it with me, and quickly found out it is not my kind of game. It is just a very nerdy shooting game with space combat and like strategy of like the commander in chief has to point you this direction to go and that. And it's a little difficult, not really my thing, but it's a cool game. I appreciate it. I'm going to give it some more time. I've only played like 45 minutes of it, but I don't have anything to say about that right now. That was a very, very, very rare. I bought a game assuming it would be my thing. Probably wasn't my thing. Usually I have a pretty good knack for that, but that was really bad. All right, that being said, I'm losing my voice. I'm tired of shit from talking. Let's wrap up this show with 5 comments from the audience. We got 5 more left. You go to youtube.com, click on the latest episode of the show, drop a comment, say whatever you want. Let me know what you think about Halo. Maybe you have a better, more optimistic take on it. I hope some of you do, man. I really want what's best for Halo, man. Like, you got to believe. I really love Halo. I want to see things go well, but man, oh man, it's just, I don't fucking know. I don't know how Xbox could have allowed this to happen. It is so disheartening, man. It's I just can't believe someone could mismanage the most important thing they have like this. It is just really weird. But our first comment comes from Mr. David Stone, who says, "Whatever happens, even if it's the worst, I'll be here listening to you poke through the ashes of Xbox." I appreciate that, David Stone. Thank you so much. You're a very, very kind gentleman. Thank you for the kind write in, and yeah, man. And I'll try to remain somewhat balanced, not balanced in the sense of I'll adopt opinions to try and not be too negative all the time, but balanced in the sense of I'll try to look for silver linings. I'll try to focus on things I care about more, that make me happy than things that frustrate me. And we'll try to have some fun, because at the end of the day, this was supposed to be an Xbox podcast where we celebrate all things Xbox. But man, just anyone with a penis knows, if you've ever been kicked in the nuts or for whatever reason gotten your balls hurt in some way, it hurts because you get kicked in the nuts. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is a little bit after you get kicked in the nuts. Once the initial pain starts to subside, you get like a nauseous, gross feeling in your stomach. When you get kicked in the nads, phase 1 is, ow, my balls, that hurts. Phase 2 is, ooh, I feel sick now. My stomach hurts. Okay? And that's where I am with Halo. I've already been kicked in the balls kind of multiple times at this point. I've been kicked in the balls with Halo, with Xbox, and with a lot of things. We all have. It's not about me. It's about us. We all have, really. And I think that's where a lot of us are. Is we just have upset tummies. You can only be sacked so many times, sack tapped so many times before your little baby tummy starts to hurt. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Mr. Tim R, the R stands for Remember When Halo Was Goated, writes in and says, "I've been thinking about Sony's move to all digital, which I'm sure plenty of people are in support of. One thing it does make me think of, though, is how Xbox was claiming that they lost the console wars, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Phil Spencer said that on Kind of Funny a couple of years back. I think that was like spring of 2023 he said that. You go on. If I remember correctly, one of the big reasons for this statement was because people were so locked into PlayStation since it's where their game libraries were. I feel like this one may be an opportunity for Xbox to compete a little harder by continuing to offer physical sales, because it also means that they're also able to support older physical games through backwards compatibility, especially combined with this new initiative giving you digital licenses to physical games. There's bound to be tons of PlayStation owners that don't want to lose access to their old physical games just because PlayStation doesn't want to include their disc drive. Not to mention, if you include the admission that they only sell you a license to the games that you obviously don't care about revoking, then despite the potential backlash, maybe I'm just being overly optimistic, though. Okay. Tim, this is a great write-in, and I appreciate it, but I got to be honest with you, man. I feel very specific about a couple things. One, I think you're totally right. Xbox has nothing to lose and entire responsibility. The ball is 1,000% in their court. They should take this opportunity where Sony is down and capitalize on it 100%, do some slam dunk to make Sony look weak, and then do something to kind of signal to PlayStation people, hey, if you don't like where Sony's going, come over here to Xbox. 100% they should do that. However, they're not going to do that. One, because modern Xbox is way too fucking chicken shit to ever play hardball with Xbox or PlayStation and ever be mean and aggressive like that, which is so sad. The fighting spirit there at Xbox is completely dead and gone, and it has been that way for a while. So that's the first reason why I don't think that would ever happen, even though I agree they should do it. The second thing is, while I agree they should do it, I think there is just about a 0% chance it would make any meaningful change for them. Here's my example, my analog to this, and I think I already used it on the show a couple weeks ago, but I remember in 2016, 17, something like that, I remember sitting in a class in college. It was the day that the iPhone 7 or 8 was announced, whichever iPhone it was, that said, hey, fuck the headphone jack is gone. And I just remember from that point on, as someone who's very keyed into like the tech community, as someone who like follows a lot of like consumer tech, smartwatches, phones, things like that, that felt like a conversation that went on for like 10 years. But even for a while there, it felt like normies were having that conversation. Like I was hearing like regular ass people around my college campus have conversations about, oh my God, they got rid of the headphone jack. That's so stupid. Apple, why did you do that? That's so dumb. And everyone hated. That was a decision Apple made. That was that meme where it's like everyone disliked that. That's what that was. And it was such an unpopular thing for them to do. And there was so much chatter online and chatter in the streets about, oh, I don't like that. I wish they didn't do that. But Apple's not fucking stupid. They weren't born yesterday. They had the market research to show people don't need this feature. People will want where we're headed with, first of all, we'll give you new headphones that plug into your charging port. And then in a few years from now, we'll give you AirPods and you're all going to fucking love it. They did their research. They had their ducks in a row. They knew what they were doing. And they knew at the end of the day, the bitching and the moaning and the belly aching was not going to be enough to make people think twice about sticking with iPhone. And how do we know that that was the case? Because Samsung didn't come out and then go, oh, you should switch from iPhone to Samsung because we have a headphone jack still. No, instead Samsung said, oh, Apple got rid of the headphone jack? Cool, we're doing it too. And everyone did it. Everyone fucking did it. The headphone jack was gone from pretty much all device within a matter of like 2 to 3 years from then. And I see this as very much a similar thing where it's like, Xbox also wants to get rid of discs because they see the same value. They see the same benefit. EA, Activision, well, I guess that's Xbox now, right? Ubisoft, all these guys, they want to get away from discs. They want to cut Target out. They want to cut Walmart and Best Buy out. They want to make more money on their games. They don't want to have to spend money on certifying discs and manufacturing physical games and things like that. They just want to make the maximum amount of money possible for their game. And if they can force everyone to move to digital, that helps them that much more. Additionally, PlayStation has the research. Xbox has the research. Third-party publishers have the research. They can see that the overwhelming majority of people these days are buying their games digitally. Yeah, that physical has become such a niche way to purchase games that they are confident based on their research. And trust me, they have research. They're always spying on you. They're always collecting your data. They know what's happening in their playground. They know that they can get away with this because they know that the bitching and the moaning is a very loud minority, and that at the end of the day, the majority of people aren't going to give a shit about it. They're going to go, oh, PlayStation doesn't have a disc thing anymore. You just download the games now. That's how you do it. Okay, that's it. They know they can get away with it, and they know they can win. The last thing, in keeping with the Apple analogy, is that Simply put, man, I mean, people are gluttons for punishment. It's like the reason why I'm still here on Xbox. I bitched and moaned about Xbox for the past year. So what I do, I went out and bought an Xbox LAX. I'm bitching and moaning about Xbox right now. What am I going to do the second there's another Halo game or the new Xbox console? I'm going to buy day one, because people have no self-control. They don't put their money where their mouth is. And this whole, like, the consumer has the voice, the consumer has the power, it's kind of nonsense. It just doesn't work in our globally connected, always online, mass consumption world that we live in. It just doesn't work. No matter what PlayStation does to piss off the people who want physical games, those people are never going to go to Xbox. It doesn't matter. Xbox cannot get those people. And those people aren't going to abandon the huge library that they've built on PlayStation just so they can, going forward, continue to build their library on a different platform. It's just not going to happen. And Xbox probably knows it's not worth trying to make Sony look bad, because they know that they're just going to be joining them in the next year or two. So that is my assumption on all that and how that stuff's playing out. I got to be honest, like, this is a huge story that's been going on for a while. I don't have too much I want to add to it. It's why I try to keep it to a minimum, because personally speaking, I know a lot of people care. I know it's a big deal, and I don't mean to be dismissive of that. While I do think it's important to keep physical media around, I want physical games to continue to be manufactured and sold. Me personally, just selfishly speaking from my experience and my needs, I don't care about any of this, because I haven't bought a physical game since Ronald Reagan was still fucking looking for excuses to get back at black people because his racist ass wanted to plant drugs in the in black communities or whatever in the 80s. Like, this is just one of those things where it's like, I do see why this matters, and I'm not disputing that, but I just don't personally care, because I'm gonna keep buying all my games digital. I don't really give a shit about the physical ownership of them. But yeah, I hope that makes sense, Tim. And I think people sometimes overlook how small that hardcore fan base can be relative to the masses. And we just don't live in a world anymore where, like, your voice really matters, or you can really take it to the streets and fight things. I mean, it's just not how things work. It's idealistic. It's nice to think that it should work that way. And I'll always encourage people to protest and fight for what they believe in, but I just don't have much faith in these things ever, like, going in the way that people want them to, I should say. I don't know. Let's go over to Cronky, who has a doubleheader here and says, I can't take game streaming seriously. This is why Asha is a fucking corporate joke, and these studio closures are so infuriating. Whoa. They don't have money for any of it because Game Pass has lost so much money, but giving you your games for free, or maybe it says buy, giving your games for free and streaming them for free with just a couple of ads each hour makes sense financially. Oh, but yeah, like, how is that going to make sense doing the ad-supported free version of Game Pass? Come on, dude. Have you ever looked at the financials for your YouTube channel with 100,000 subs? They don't make a YouTube channel, not my YouTube channel. We have like 1,000 subs. They don't make enough money for a single person to survive. That's why ad revenue for video streaming games is far more expensive. The waste of money, blah, blah, blah. Proof of giant corporations are idiots. I actually agree with this completely, and I meant to bring it up last week and didn't, because sometimes when I'm talking, I just get too distracted from all the things I want to say, and then something slips or gets lost. But I agree completely. How is watching an ad for Ozempic and then watching an ad for fucking plentyoffish.com going to suddenly justify the $700 million it costs to make a Call of Duty game? You know, it's like that ad revenue is not going to add up. It's like, okay, so you got 100,000 jackasses to watch a Hulu ad on their fucking Xbox before they were allowed to play a Plague Tale Innocence or whatever. Like, is that really gonna like make up for the $60-$70 you didn't make selling a game or something like that? Like, it is so fucking stupid for Xbox to constantly be exploring all these revenue streams. And not to say it's stupid, because like, you shouldn't explore revenue streams. You should always just rely on one thing and never change your business model. But it's like, the business models that they are exploring, I feel like, are just so fucking brain dead. And it's so obvious, like, from a mile away, we're all like, guys, that's not going to work. That doesn't translate to video games well. You can't do that. And I just feel like we're all out here kind of like seeing this stuff from a mile away, but Xbox is over here like fucking Charlie Day with the fucking, you know, with all the pins and the whiteboard with all the conspiracy theories, like trying to connect the dots that don't connect. And they're just like, no, it's going to work. It's going to work. If we let people customize their own Game Pass plan and they get to pick whatever price they want to pay. And then this group of people gets to watch an ad because people in India don't mind watching ads to play games because they play everything on a fucking iPhone. It's like, no, dude, just stop. Xbox is never going to be this global brand that sweeps Asia by storm. It's never going to sweep Africa by storm. You used to be a little more competitive in Europe and South America, but you're really not that much anymore. Just fucking accept what you are and try to make the best of what you can rather than being pissy because PlayStation has fucking a bakery with cookies and cakes and pies and all the desserts and everyone wants to go there and eat there. Just because they got that and all you can do is make cakes doesn't mean you need to start trying to be a million things you're not. Just enjoy the fact that you make some really damn good cake and go focus on that cake. Because right now I feel like if Xbox is a baker and the only thing they sell and make is cake, they used to make some really damn good cake and people used to love it. But now their cake kind of sucks because they've let it suffer and kind of like sit in the side and get stale and boring while they've just pursued all these things that don't work. It's like, we'll diversify our business. We won't make just cake. We'll also do pool restorations for residential properties, and we'll fucking be tax accountants, and we'll open a grocery store. It's like, dude, Xbox, can you just calm down and focus on the thing you're good at? Can we just get like a little bit more Gears of War E-Day and a little bit less free-to-play ad-supported video games, you know what I'm saying? Can we just get a little bit more Forza Horizon 6 and a little bit less we just put our version of Super Mario Bros. On PlayStation? Like, do you see the difference between these two things? Like, are you able to, Asha, Xbox people, like Microsoft, hey, I'm waving my fucking arms like an idiot stranded on an island. Do you see why some of these things make sense and some of them don't? Do you see how maybe chasing money all the fucking time and trying to be the biggest and the best, like, here's the thing is, like, I wanted to believe in Asha. She's done and said so many things. I'm like, oh God, fuck you. I kind of like you and you're kind of getting me back in. But the one thing she said that will make me permanently, always, for the rest of eternity, skeptical of her and non-trusting of her is when she said, our goal is to have the biggest gaming brand. We want to have the biggest number of players in our brand. Boom. That's when you knew it was over. That's when you knew for sure Asha's not the person, because if your goal is to just have the largest number of fucking fat, overweight, gelatinous bodies consuming your bullshit content, then you've lost the plot and you don't understand what your brand is about. But if you can understand, if you can live in a world where you go, hey, PlayStation's number one, good for them. Let them make another stupid fucking God of War game with a talking cube and let all these fucking assholes in the games industry fellatiate that fucking game. Let that be the status quo. But we are going to continue to make awesome Gears of War games, and we're going to enable studios like In Exile to make awesome open world first person Western RPG games like Clockwork Revolution. And we're going to continue to make new Fallout games and Skyrim games that are going to sell millions upon millions of copies and make people super happy. And we're going to continue to make more badass Doom games and more badass games for machine games like Wolfenstein. We're going to just do cool shit because we're Xbox. We make good consoles with great infrastructure, great UIs, great dashboards, great controllers, great online services, great user-friendly features and services, an excellent subscription service that offers a great way to play online and have a robust feature set. And people come to our console to sit down their fucking couch and shoot some Nazi zombies in the fucking head because this is Call of Duty. It's not rocket science. We don't need to figure out how to get the stupid fucking soccer mom in the doctor's office waiting room to engage with Xbox when she's on her iPhone. We don't need it. We don't need it. Stop trying to compete with TikTok. Stop trying to compete with Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They're a lost cause. Come home to daddy. Focus on the millennial generation. Focus on Gen X. We are the only two generations you should care about because we are the hand that feeds you. So stop biting us and start feeding us. You know what I'm saying, daddy? Daddy's hungry. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, Cronky continues and says, regarding Double Fine, however, I think what you're trying to say is that they're the size of a AA team, but they make indie games. I kind of agree, actually. The issue is that they are run by actual humans and not sociopathic corporate freaks, so they don't want to lay off anyone more than they absolutely have to. Here's hoping that they don't have to cut more. That being said, you definitely underestimate the potential profitability of the indie market. Ultra Kill has sold over 7 million copies. Call of the Lamb has sold over 5 million copies. And possibly 7 million as well. Even Dredge got over 1 million, and that's saying nothing about games like Stardew Valley, which have outsold the Bible. I think you are a little too console AAA minded and are missing the massive side of the industry. No, I don't think I am. I think it's awesome that games like Stardew Valley are massive successes like that. You know what else started as an indie game and it's just absolutely killing it to this day? Minecraft. And Xbox bought Minecraft. So yeah, I mean, they're aware that this happens. They're aware that lightning gets caught in a bottle sometimes among indie developers. They're aware that Among Us and things like that have happened in the past. But here's the thing, is having teams of 20 people make these games for a couple $1 million here, for $10 to $20 million here and there, left and right, in hopes that one of them hits and sells 10 million copies, is not a viable way to run a massive corporation like Microsoft or a brand like Xbox. It's just chump change, if I'm being honest. I mean, we're talking about 7 million units sold, but of a game that costs like $10, you know? The games have become so expensive to make, and the profits that these companies rely on are so egregious at this point that they would rather make a $700 million game like Call of Duty, sell to you every fucking year, and then on top of that say it's not good enough that you gave us $70 for this game. You actually want to buy the $100 version of the game because it comes with skins. And then when you're done with that, you also want to buy a new season pass every 2 months because it's going to come with more content for you to unlock. And that's not enough, because every couple of months, we're going to get some other deadbeat washed up celebrity that you don't fucking care about, and we're going to sell you a $20 skin of that character. How does that sound? Looking like Marshall Mathers running around Call of Duty. Do you like that? You like that? That'll be $20, you motherfucker. Because Activision makes more money selling you a fucking Marshall Mathers skin in Call of Duty for $20 than 99% of indie games will ever make, even if they sell 5 million copies at $8.99 a pop. And that's the thing, is we are comparing pennies to dollars. It's the same reason why these AAA publishers, it's why Activision stopped making like AA Marvel games and shit, because there's no money in, let's pay Marvel a shit ton of money to get their license. Let's make a slap together cheap AA game in about 8 to 12 months time. And then let's shit it out there, sell a couple million copies and make a little bit of a profit, when they're like, no, we don't have to do that. We can just make Call of Duty, you know? 2K says, no, we can just make like basketball and Grand Theft Auto. We're good, because these games are live services. They print money left and right. Yeah, they're expensive as fuck to build and to run, but they just print money once they're going. And indie games don't print money once they're going. They print money for the 20 people that built the studio and made the game, no doubt. No doubt. You look at some of these indie success stories, these guys have like generational wealth because of the games they've made. That's great. But if you're Microsoft, that's chump change. And that's the world we're playing in. And Double Fine can't be bringing chump change to the table when what you need is a Fortnite level success. And it's not Double Fine's fault that Xbox allowed them to come into their family and continue to do that, because I think they set a bad expectation and a bad precedent. But at the end of the day, that is what happened. That's all I'm saying about Double Fine. All right, let's round it out. Dead Captain James writes in and says, I honestly don't think any of us were surprised at this point about Halo, about all of it. It really does just feel over. I feel like it felt over a couple months ago, and now it feels like it's over, but there's like this, I feel like Xbox died, like in February or something. And then we got this fucking post-credit scene, and it was Asha Sharma, and then it said Asha Sharma will return in Avengers Endgame. And ever since then, it's been like, fuck, Xbox is definitely dead, right? I don't know. What are they going to do here? Because it's like, on the one hand, they're like, yeah, Halo's just a fucking mess. And then on the other hand, they're like, hey, we're finally bringing platinum trophies to achievements, and stay tuned for backwards compatibility of Xbox 360 games on your PC. It's like, God damn it, Xbox. God damn it. Anyway, I will continue to enjoy Xbox in the future when it is a PC only brand, if that's how things are going. But until that's the case, I'm gonna call it a show. Go hit the shower and go to bed. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Remember that the point of it all is that you go. Yeah. I hear you, buddy. You go play some video games. You go enjoy your lives. You go get some fulfillment out of your time with Xbox. Like I smack talk on the show, but the truth of the matter is, the weekend rolls around. I'm off work. I get some downtime. I sit down on my couch. I play some Xbox. I'm not going, Xbox, you're so fucking stupid. I hate this. I hate that. No, I'm like, what do I want to play? Oh, cool. Yeah, let's boot up 007. This game rocks. And I just enjoy video games on my console. That's what it's all about. But unfortunately, when the show is about the news, I got some bad news for you. The stories haven't been that good lately in the past couple of years. So unfortunately, it comes out this way a lot. But I am still pretty optimistic about the 25th anniversary event later this year. I'm really excited about Gears of War. I cannot wait to play it this weekend. I'm having fun playing Halo, even though I'm not crazy about what this product is. Other than that, there's Nintendo Switch and Splatoon Raiders fucking rocks. So with that said, guys, enjoy some Gears of War. Have a great weekend. Be safe, be good, eat yummy food, and power your dreams.